All right, so this is the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We start out of One West, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We're not affiliated with no fake Israelite groups, none of that. Y'all pretty much know that. But so we're here tonight to talk about, and not talk about, but also to celebrate, the Feast of Purim. So pretty much everybody, somebody tell me what the Feast of Purim is. Yeah, might as well. One of the sisters, right? Go ahead.
The Feast of Purim is to remember Queen Esther and what her uncle Haman.
Yeah, Mordecai.
Mordecai working together to save the nation of Israel.
That's right. Absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Most high in Christ. All right. So this is like the thing like that we all have to like really take in, and that's why we go through it every single year, is so that we remember. Because I mean, we follow the oppressors' holidays every year, right? We remember that stinking Christmas, we remember that stinking Halloween, and we remember that stinking 9/11, right? We remember all of his holidays, but how about we remember our holidays, man, our high holy days. You know what I'm saying? How about we remember those things and remember the things that the brothers and sisters have done in the past, man, that was great to our nation. You know, like you got the Feast of Hanukkah. You know what I'm saying? When we got free from the Greeks for about 150 years, man, that was unheard of at that time for us to even think of something happening like that. But we were able to do it, and we recognize that. The reason that we remember these things that we went through is because these things are going to happen again. You know, that's why we keep the Day of Atonement. The reason we keep the Day of Atonement is because that day you ain't going to eat nothing, right? Because, okay, I just saw the video where it said World War III, what we've been saying. You think if World War III comes here, you're going to be able to go to Starbucks? No, you might have to go 2 or 3 days without eating. So you got to be cool with not eating. You know, it's going to be times where things ain't going to be as comfortable as it is now. America has made Black people so comfortable that when a hurricane comes through and they saving people will still be in their night clothes. You would think that if they tell you that a Category 5 storm is coming, that at least you will get up and put your shoes on. Like, okay, we're going to sit on the couch, right? But at least we're going to get dressed, you know what I'm saying? And sit on the couch and wait for the storm to come. But guess what? When they saving people off the roof, like when you seen like Katrina, those people had night clothes on. They didn't even, we didn't even consider the danger that was coming. We just didn't even consider it. It was people like Big Mama still sitting in the crib. Like she on the roof like this. Like, damn, nobody told Big Mama to go put on some clothes. You know what I'm saying? It was a Category 5 storm coming. They boarding up everything. And that just shows you, like, we have to be ready for the battle. We're not ready for the battle, because we too concerned with things that don't matter, like scrolling all day on Instagram and stuff like that. That's not nothing that's going to keep you ready for the battle. None of that. Smoking weed. How much weed can you smoke? You said all of it. I can guarantee you can't smoke all of it. Yeah, you'll try, but you can't. And all of it just puts you at the butt of the joke. One thing I want to say too, real quick. Drugs don't work for Black people. Who drugs work for? White people. Drugs work for white people, right? I'm gonna tell you how. Because some nerd can sit in Silicon Valley and snort coke all night and come up with a new app, right? And make millions of dollars off that app. We sit around and snort coke all night. We become, you go to jail, you get, you lose a house, you lose everything. They sitting over in Silicon Valley right now, smoking speed, snorting coke all night, and they got apps that's out right now on the Play Store or the iPhone store. They coming up with things because they up all night, right? Drugs doesn't work for us, man. But just getting back to it, the Feast of Purim is about a woman who was like, if you want to think just for a lack of better word example, think Michelle Obama, think Obama. All right. If you think that, you'll pretty much be able to zero in on what's going on here, right? King Ahasuerus was a heathen, right? And Queen Esther would be, she's a Jew, so it would be like that type of dynamic you would see. All right, so we're gonna start. Let's start at let's find out who he was too. Let's start at 1. I'm gonna have everybody read a little bit of it, just so everybody can get involved with the story. All right, no sweat, you got it.
Book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1.
All right, what's going on? Shalom, UPK, not Dezab. We're now in the building, just started painting the building. UPK, Shariah Kwar is in the building. Shout out to all of y'all, man. The Feast of Purim. Everybody drink up, man. You know, it's a celebration, right? Let's get it.
Okay. Book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, and 120 provinces.
Mm-hmm.
That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants.
Right. So, So this is he's a king. Over the Persian Empire. This is at the time where the Persians and the Medes was ruling. You know what I mean? But you know who conquered the Persians and the Medes, right? The Greeks.
Right.
They conquered the Persians and the Medes, right? Keep reading.
The power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces, being before him.
Mm-hmm.
He showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
Okay, so let me skip you down to verse 6.
Verse 6. Where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black and marble.
Okay, right. So this is just pretty much just, setting the scene for you, how everything is going on, pretty much how rich the king was. You know what I mean? How nice things looked. All right. Go down to 8.
Esther chapter 1, verse 8. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure.
Right. So, they having this party. Everything is good. It's a nice party. Shalom, Lord Christ. It's a party going on. Everybody's drinking. Nobody's compelling anybody to chill out. Everybody is just having a great time. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcass, 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty.
You look up chamberlains for me.
Chamberlains?
Yeah, chamberlains. I believe the chamberlains are just like the women who work with the maids that work with the queen. Yeah. Go ahead.
You want me to do the blue letter on here?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You can.
Chamberlain. All right. Blue letter Bible Chamberlain is, and it's right on the screen for those that's home. Chamberlain. is Sarah's H5631, and the definition is official, eunuch, officer.
Right. So it could be a eunuch too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's got to be a horrible thing. They cut your rod off and you know what I mean, and you know, the tools, and then make you watch all the women. They put you over all the women. Ain't that something? That's foul, boy. Just go ahead and kill me, man. Just kill me, huh? And then them eunuchs be big too. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the chamberlains, right? So they working with the women. All right, go ahead.
Verse 11.
He said he killed himself.
Bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they having a party, and everybody, no different than when you tell a kid to come out and dance. You know, we party. We party. Say, look, get the kids out here and tell them to dance. But in this particular instance, it was him he wanted to show his wife off. He was, she was a trophy wife or whatever, right? He wanted everybody to see her. Go ahead.
Book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth.
Mm-hmm.
Anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the time, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment.
Right, because when the king tell you to do something, you do it. You don't. They understood that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they like, the queen. She ain't come out here. You know what I mean? And and they knew how the king was. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 13, Book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the time, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. Verse 14, and the next unto him was Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Maris, Marsena, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law?
Mm-hmm.
Because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlain. Right.
So she's being defiant. And when the reason that they're looking at his face is like, how say if you tell you in charge, right? And you tell somebody to do something and everybody's pretty much under your subjection, and you tell somebody to do something and they don't do it, then how does that look to everybody else? It's like you can't, your face is all screwed up. You know what I mean? No different than when John the Baptist, when the woman came up and told him to put John the Baptist's head on the charger, there's people around, he's saying, I tell you, hey man, I'll give you whatever you want. You just name it. And then, you name it. Now I got to save face in front of everybody because everybody's going to look at me as I'm weak, which is not a good thing for a good thing that should happen to a king in front of people, because kings rule off of fear and being strong, not weakness. You can't show weakness. Go ahead.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 16.
17.
Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
Hold on, I'm sorry, man. Salaki, could you go up to 16? I think it's yeah.
And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus. Right.
It's just like if if you got an order, if somebody in here got an order and and they're not following it, then not only does it look, the person that's under that person would take offense to it. Also, the people that would hear about it or see it, they would also take offense to it too as well. And that's why they're attacking it now. Go ahead.
Verse 17, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
Say that one more time.
For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
Yeah, you know, she's trying to make an example. Like, look what I can do. I don't got to listen to the king like y'all do. You know what I mean? I ain't got to do that because I'm the queen, right? So that could send off the wrong message to other women.
Right.
Right? They could send off the wrong message. Go ahead.
So that they shall despise their husbands.
What? Say that one more time.
So
back it up.
The book of Esther. Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
That's right.
So that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes.
Right, because if they see that she did it, then it would be no. They would feel like, well, I could do it too and disobey my husband too, right? When that's not the case here. Go ahead. Or you want to say something? Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say that's like, you know, the people that look up to like women like Jada Pinkett Smith. They see the way that she does will, and then they get evil like that too.
Good point. And also, what's her name? The one that said cheat on us with a soft man. Yeah, Erykah Badu. She said the Super Bowl Sunday is a good day to cheat with a soft man because all the men are watching football. She said something like that. But you know, she got a lot of women that you know listen to her, you know, because they see her burning sage. You know, that makes you righteous, don't it? the sage. But yeah, so the sage, man, that's crazy. But like you said, Jada Pinkett, you know, people see that and people look up to stars, you know. You know, we might not do it, you know, but people do. People literally like be in the concerts, like just like this. Like, you know what I mean? I can't be like this the whole day. Like hoping Beyonce look at me. Like this. What is that? I never really got that. But thank the Lord that I just never been that type of person. You know what I mean? That wanted to go to a concert and just, you know, just bask in, you know, the glory of, you know, Lil Baby on stage. I don't know. It's just never been that type of person, huh? Yeah, just you know what I mean? I just can't. I don't know. But thank God I never been that type of person. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
The book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes when it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not.
Okay.
Verse 18. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
Right, because you know, this is the time. You know, this is the Persian Medo Empire, man. It's like, you know, it was a whole different thing back then. You know what I mean? Especially if you was a king, it was different. You seen, if y'all know anything about like the Caesars in Rome and how they kill each other. You know, if there's any form of weakness that showed, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a different time then. You know what I mean? Look, Solomon, you know, he had his brother, you know what I mean? He had his older brother killed. You know what I'm saying? Like because any sort of like, what's how they call it? Shot at the throne. any kind of shot at the throne gotta be met with all the forces of everything. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be stamped out because other people will see that and it could possibly cause you your reign as a king. Go ahead.
Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
Ain't that something? You know, like because of your attitude, you get kicked out and replaced because you just got an attitude. If you just would listen and do what you're supposed to do, then you would have everything. You would have the whole kingdom, pretty much. But because you know you want to be defiant or whatever, then it costs you your seat as the queen. All right, let's keep going. Somebody else can take it too. Oh, you going? Okay, go ahead.
Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his kingdom, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
That's right, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's about at the end of the day. Is honor.
Yeah, right.
You know, okay, you might be mad, but you give your husband honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a lot of women go to that, what's that scripture? What's the virtuous woman scripture? The Proverbs scripture. But you got to read up too. It can't just be, the one verse. It got to be all the verses. You know what I'm saying? And this goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is what's going on right now. You know what I mean? And she's losing her spot as the queen. Go ahead. Keep going.
Verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Esther chapter 1, verse 21. And the saying pleased the king and the princes. And the king did according to the word of Memucan. Verse 22. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people.
That go Jews too. Everybody, right? But see, the thing is, a lot of brothers don't run their house.
Right.
They don't run their house, right? Because the woman is basically running the house, and that's why it's always fights in the house because it's two men fighting. That's what it is. It's two men fighting in that house. And that's why that spirit is a man. That spirit that the woman has on her is a man. And it's two men fighting in the house. And that's why the house can't be together and move with cohesion. It has to be, an equal balance between the two, right? To make it work, in harmony, right? All right, keep going. I think where was you at? You was at all right, you at 2. All right, so somebody else can take it at 2. 2, and let's start at 1 because we're gonna split it up into 2 days. All right. All right, no sweat. You got it.
Esther chapter 2 and verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let their king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of Hedge the king's chamberlain.
Yo, so like what's really going on right now is he's like getting all the bad chicks.
Right.
He's saying, look, all right, go out and find me all the bad chicks and you bring them up here. Right? Keep going.
Khan, keeper of the women, and let their things for purification be given them. And let the maiden, which pleaseth the king, be queen instead of Vashti.
Vashti.
And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace there was certain Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish of Benjamin, who, when being carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which he had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah. Yeah,
we've been in captivity after captivity, man. When are we going to stop being in these captivities? Like, when are we going to, like, you know, come together and come to some sort of senses that we can't keep doing these same things that keeps landing us in these same spots? You know what I'm saying? Like, when is it going to be? We reading about when we was in captivity, and here we are again, thousands of years later, and we still in captivity. Like, something got to give here. All right, keep going.
Whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Right, so this her uncle, you know, basically treating her like a, what we say? I can't hear you. Yeah, y'all can eat. Yeah, everybody can eat. Yeah, everybody can eat. But go ahead.
So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him. And he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house, to know how Esther did and what should become of her. Right.
So basically, you know, she's going through, like, okay, Vashti is very, very attractive. And so he knew that. So when the king is out looking for a new queen, he's basically telling her to go do it as well. Because remember, they're in captivity. You know what I'm saying? So if you can have someone pretty much on the inside, things can be better for you, moving through that captivity, right? Keep going.
Verse 12. Now when every maid's turn was come to go into the king Assyrius, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women. For so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to which 6 months with oil and myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors.
Man, that's crazy. Like, that's like she's soaking her, I don't want to say soak her behind, but she's going through the purification process, to make herself right for the king. You know what I mean? Putting on those body butters, putting on that oil, sitting in that tub, and getting herself right so that when she goes into the king, she's right and she smells good and different things like that. All right, keep going.
Verse 13. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of Shahazgaz.
Right. So while they're trying to go, where they're going through this purification process, they actually have to stay there. So Mordecai is coming through, just checking on our process and seeing how everything is going. All right. Everybody with me? Everybody with the story? All right. No sweat.
The king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines, she came into the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name. Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go into the king, she required nothing but what Haggai the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all that looked upon her.
Mm-hmm.
So Esther was taken unto King Assyrius into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
You see that? So that now she became the queen. All right. So now everybody see how she became the queen. All right. All right. So skip me down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And
Hold on, matter of fact, Slocky, 18. Yeah, I think that'll be good for the story.
Verse 18. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he had made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him.
Right. So he's telling her to go in there and make this happen, but don't, put it all out there. Just go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthath and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Assyrius. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Okay.
And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
All right. So the two men, they didn't like the fact that she was crowned queen. So they came up with a plot to to kill to lay hold on the king or whatever, right? But it was found out. The plot was foiled, right? Because Mordecai found out about it, right? Hold on, where was he at? It was something I was wanting to say. Why don't nobody ever want to be, all these nuts and the, people that come out here? Why don't nobody want to be Big Than and Teresh? Why everybody got to be Jesus Christ? But go ahead. That's kind of weird, right? Everybody want to be Jesus. Why nobody want to use these other people?
Chapter 3. After these things, did King Assyrius promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha.
Right. So now Haman. Now remember I said Michelle Obama, right?
Right.
Joe Biden. Think of that, right? Remember when Obama was in office, right? You had Obama, right? You had what's her name? Michelle Obama, and then you had Joe Biden was the vice president. So think that in this scenario here, you got King Ahasuerus, right? Who's the king? You got Michelle Obama, which is Esther, and then you got Joe Biden, which is the vice president, right? But in this here is Haman. All right, let's get it. Go ahead, sis.
Do you read like Michelle Obama being the Judite and Obama being the Haman?
Yeah. Well, this is just to make it clear, like, when you're thinking about it, it's the same type of scenario. Because of course, this is a Persian we reading about, but in modern times, you would see Obama was a heathen, right? Michelle Obama was a Judite, right? And then you got Joe Biden, which is a Edomite, right? And right here, Haman is the Edomite. Right, so he's like the viceroy of he's under the king. All right, go ahead.
Khan, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman.
Right, so he would be like the vice president. Right, keep going.
For the king has so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did he him reverence. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? And it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman, to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew.
Say that one more time.
He had told them that he was a Jew.
That's why he didn't bow to nobody.
Right.
That's why we got to stop bowing. You know, like, that's why we make, you know, the oppressor bow down to us and kiss our boots. You know, like, we've been bowing down to the oppressor for thousands of years, man. And like, you got our people still want us to bow down, like good slaves. Because you know what? In this place, we become homeborn slaves. We don't even know what it even means to be free. Like freedom, like I was even thinking about on the way down here, like what will the person, if you ask a typical black person, are we free? And if they was, most of them would tell you, yeah. But then I would say, well, what would determine that we were free? Like, that's why Juneteenth makes no sense to me, because you're celebrating being freed when we're not. You know who's free? Chinese people.
Right.
They're free. Go ahead, Matazaba.
Right. You can't say you free.
You gotta say it in the mic.
You can't say you free in one instance and then still be afraid of another people in
Right.
another instance. Because I was watching, I think it was like a clip that they put out for Cross the Line Radio, and it was talking about the boot kiss,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was a female that was asked. She was saying like, well, she was saying like, well, what are we gonna do? Why do we keep getting the boot kisses? Because it could be dangerous.
Right.
She was saying it could be dangerous that we get boot kisses because other white people are going to start to get mad
And do something to black people.
possibly start to attack black people.
Yeah. Because this is the reality of it. This is the reality of it in 2024. Black people are scared of white people. There you go. That's the real deal. You know what I mean? And people don't want to admit it to themselves, and they'll try to say, you know, they'll try to go to abstract things that doesn't mean anything, and they'll try to make it seem like they're not afraid, but really we still are. You know, what did the brother say, Captain Kahan? When Captain Kahan, when he said that his mom and his family said when he started the camp down in Mississippi, she said, you don't want to be stirring up the ghosts of Mississippi. You know, you don't want to be doing that. What happened when we came into the truth? My stepfather said, oh, y'all don't want to be out in the streets when Donald Trump is in office, because people are still afraid of the oppressor, right? If you can't die for something, then you'll definitely die for nothing. I'd rather die on my feet, you know what I'm saying, than die on my knees. I'd rather die like that, because it's like, a coward dies every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you really think about it, because you won't stand up at all. Like, you won't say nothing. You know what I mean? So you're a coward. And when you die, like, nobody's even going to give a damn. You know what I'm saying? But when you die for something, then that's what lives on. You know what I'm saying? Right. We always going to talk about Nat Turner. I don't give a damn who, you know what I mean, what time it is. You know what I mean? Because he actually stood for something. He actually wanted to be free. You know, Martin Luther King wanted America to act right. That's a whole totally different thing. You know what I mean? And that's what we fight for today, is just for America to act right. And, you know, and we see how far that got us. All right, go ahead. Keep going. You got it. And then just a few more scriptures, then you can pass it off to somebody else. No sweat.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgresseth thou the king's commandment?
Uh-huh.
Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told him that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reference, then was Haman full of wrath, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone.
And real quick, that's how Edomites are. You know, when Edomites don't see you bowing down, that offends them. Even when the police was killing all the innocent black men that was unarmed, right? And we didn't want to bow for the stinking national anthem. And they had an issue with that. They had a real big issue with that. They wanted us to bow down and bow your head before this football game. And, a lot of people went back. A lot of our people, they listened right to Jay-Z and went back and stopped kneeling.
Exactly.
Jay-Z's on there crying about. Now, think of this real quick, sidebar. Think of this. Jay-Z's on TV at an award show crying about his wife not receiving Album of the Year, right? And he's a billionaire. You can make your own award show with your own academy. You can have your own academy. All it is 10 people discussing, like 10 brothers discussing who got the best album or not, and that's what it is, right? You can have your own thing. Even though we billionaires in America, we're still slaves, right? Because how come East Indians have Bollywood? East Indians have Bollywood. Even the Africans have their own movie, a version of Hollywood. But us, we still here in America begging the oppressor to give us recognition. And if we don't get that recognition for Album of the Year, then I didn't have Album of the Year, right? That's just crazy, ridiculous. Go ahead, Mataz Pop.
One thing I felt like that was crazy with Jay-Z is when black people were kneeling because of the systemic oppression and stuff like that, right? He didn't get behind black people. He didn't support black people.
Right.
But then when it was an issue that dealt directly with him and that the Grammy,
Slow, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we're supposed to care. Now we're supposed to get behind you and back you.
Right.
For your issue, but he couldn't back us for the issues that we care about.
Right, because we got to stop, making our issues celebrities' issues. You know what I mean? And it's a whole bunch of people that's in the comments like, yeah, it was females in the comments like, I don't want no man if he can't stand up for me like that. If he can't go against the whole industry for me, I don't want him. Relationship goals. Jay-Z is sitting in a $100 million house. No, $200 million house. You will never make $200 million in your whole lifetime. So what are you so got this allegiance, but I understand black people. We like to see, grown men, in their underwear running up and down the field fighting over pork. But that's what it is, I don't watch football myself, It's no slight to brothers that do, you know what I'm saying? But, I just, it is what it is, man. All right. So now we at the point where the king basically, Haman didn't bow to the king, and Haman is mad, right? So now we about to get into the plot, all right, of why of getting into why Esther did what she did later on in the story. Okay, so let me see. Somebody else can take it if you want to keep reading a few more. That's fine. All right, no sweat. You got it. Let them know where you at.
Esther chapter 3 and verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had sold him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom. Asterisk, even the people of Mordecai.
All right, skip down to 8.
Verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
There you go. Like that always is like our thing. Y'all ever saw Judas and the Black Messiah? Y'all saw that movie, Judas and the Black Messiah? It's always black people that gotta go to the oppressor and say, they're not bowing down over here. You know, they're over here. These Black Panthers are over here, you know, trying to have their own little food programs, and they don't want to follow you. You know, it's always, man, we always got to be sellouts. Not in this case here, but you know, I'm just saying, like, we always follow that same example. You had something to say, Matthias, about?
I was about to say in verse 6, what was crazy is that his issue was directly with Mordecai, but instead of just taking his issue up with Mordecai, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna just be mad at all of them, just like something that Edomite would do. You know,
Right, right, because
everybody, because I can't get them.
Right, because like you said, our laws is diverse from theirs, and we're just a people that, because if he won't bow down because he's a Jew, then all of us collectively would do the same. Go ahead.
You brought up Biden with this whole thing, right? Let's stay with that whole concept, right? Even with this one here, it was a couple of bad people in our nation that was selling crack and cocaine to the point where Biden like, you know what? We gotta get rid of all of them. He called us apes and called us everything.
Yeah, right.
He wrote a crime bill to make sure he punished.
Right, damn right. I forgot about that. I forgot about that one.
I put brothers away for 20 years for selling drugs. Now, Esau, right, the oppressor, have found ways to sell marijuana to you now. And he done found a way to put a tax code on it. He done found ways to make tons of money off of it. When our brothers and sisters was out there selling it, they served years.
And there's people still locked up today.
Behind the same
People still locked up for weed. You got to be an idiot to sell drugs right now. To sell drugs right now, you probably do need to go to jail. Like you probably do, just to go on out the, just phase yourself. Just phase yourself out the gene pool, because how could you go to jail in 2024 for weed? They still locking Black people up for weed right now. Still locking you up for weed, taking you to jail for weed. How can you go to jail for something that they sell out the store? You're a relic of the past. You know what you should do? Like, you should figure out a new hustle. Like, maybe get into scamming. Like, remember that? You know what I'm talking about. The scamming is where it's at today. If you're gonna do something, but go get some credit cards or something. But selling weed and drugs is crazy. But of course, I'm just playing. You shouldn't do either or, right? But I'm just trying to prove the point. All right. Go ahead, keep reading.
Common concept. This is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business.
Okay, so what happened is Haman put a contract out. He put a contract on her head, you know, and whoever does it will get the money. Go ahead.
To bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. In the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Yeah.
The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day.
Right. So think about it, right? What would stop the oppressor today from doing that? The problem is we got guns. We don't even know what to do with it. When I see a brother with guns all in his video, I'm like, well, those I already know what those guns is for. They for me. Because, you know, they're not for the Chinese. They definitely not for the Chinese brother that's making it $500,000 a week off of wings. They're not for him, is they? They're not for the brother that got the, you know, the beef egg foo young that's selling me that. They're not for them. They're not for him. They for me. When I'm going in my house. You know what I mean? Like, we got to really see where we at with it. I understand, like, you know, like we may have been ignorant to these things, but now there's no excuse for ignorance. Ignorance is an excuse for the law. When I got locked up for a gun, right? And I threw myself at the mercy of the court, right? I told the judge, I didn't know the law was this strict up in New York. You know what he told me? Ignorance is not an excuse for the law. And I strongly consider you taking the 2 years. That's what he said. So if ignorance is an excuse not to knowing Esau's law, then ignorance shouldn't be our excuse anymore. You got a smartphone, then do something smart on it. How much of those, what we up to? The iPhone 14 now? And what are they doing on the I'm pretty sure there's tons of things you could do on the iPhone 14, right? Right. The iPhone 14, right? You could do a whole lot of good things with it, right? Probably send facts, probably do all kinds of stuff, right? But what do a person do with it? TikTok, twerk videos, you know, OnlyFans. Huh? You the top donator. You the top donator on OnlyFans with your phone, right? How we say?
They got a little badge on their name.
Yeah. And so this is ignorance can't be bliss anymore, man. We have to make sure that we understand these things so that we can wake up, and that's why it's important for us sitting in this room, because now that we got the truth, we got to go back and get the other brothers in the world. We got to get them out of the world. We got to go back and get our sisters out of this hell. Right?
All right.
Keep going.
Kamu Khan, sir. Verse 14. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and a decree was given to Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. Chapter 4. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put a sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate. For none might enter the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
You know, like, would you give you like a real example, like an up-to-date example of this, like us renting our clothes and going out there? It's like when George Floyd got killed. Like that's how we're doing it today. We're out there crying out to the Lord to say this is wrong and this shouldn't happen anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like with the scriptures, you want to put like a real, thing on it. Like how it would be today. Like us, we wouldn't be out there just tearing our clothes up. We would be out there saying, no justice, no peace. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want something no more. It's stupid, of course, but that's how we're doing it today. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work the way we're doing it today. When you're upset That's why. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:7 real quick. Ecclesiastes 7:7. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Go ahead and read it. Yeah, a good phone.
7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Right. The oppression is supposed to make you mad. Mad to do what? Get up in here and get your life together. Why are you sitting around wasting time? Get yourself together. You join what? You afraid? You scared? Well, if you're scared, then just go to church. Ain't that the song? You scared? Go to church. They got a tambourine for you. They good to go. You can go ahead and get your tambourine. Go ahead and put on some slacks. You know what I mean? And put a hymn in them joints. And go ahead to the Sunday school and get swallowed up. Go ahead to TD Jakes church. What did he say? What did he say? He got swallowed up. Go ahead and get swallowed up. But that's more like along your lines of what, you know what I mean? And it's going to be you, homosexuals, and women in the church. Right? But, but for the men who want to really, be about their business, then this would be the place where you should be. But when it says that oppression make a wise man mad, and women, right? Because remember, it goes both ways. Women too. If the oppression makes you mad, it's supposed to be the kind of oppression that will make a man not ever sell drugs to his people again. The kind of mad that will make a black man, never sleep with a white woman. That's the kind of mad you should be. The woman that comes into the school, she should say, you know what? I'm so mad at this oppression. I'm never going to ever have sex with a white man again. I'm never going to call child support on my man again. I'm never going to call the police on him. We were just talking about that yesterday. Did you see what happened when the woman called the police on her man and the acorn fell on the cop car and he thought that it was the guy inside the car with the handcuffs on and the seatbelt on shooting at him. So both of the cops was shooting at him from both directions. Luckily, he survived. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, question you check, sir.
What I got? What we got? He said, he's an Edomite white boy. I'm trying to learn more and learn how I can serve the chosen people of God. I want to serve now. I want to know the truth and should be a white slave now. Okay, so
Give me all your questions.
yeah, so if that's true, then just drop some money in the donation bin.
Give all the bank account, bro.
Yeah, drop the there's nothing that you could do to help us out, but really you can just donate. That's it. Money works. It helps, because I know when I go to the pump, that liquid don't come out for free.
Right.
You gotta go inside. You gotta put some plastic in there, and then after that, I gotta push a button, and then the liquid comes out, and that's how I'm able to drive, right? So that's the way you can help. All right, so who we got in here? We got Trooper Nahalia. Nahalia, get in here, man. Now's the time, 2024, man. Let's get it. UPK Not Desired checking in from Sacramento. Yeah, man. Check out UPK Not Desired, man, on Cross the Line. What's the app called with Captain Katazar? Tribe Vibes, on Tribe Vibes. Yeah, check him out on Tribe Vibes, man. He got some good music on there. Let me see. Who else is in here? Melanie Taylor checking in from Pittsburgh. Just starting paint. Shalom, Barak Wanaz. Shalom to you. And, and we're going to keep it moving. I think I'm going to go through a couple more scriptures and then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And then tomorrow will be the closing. All right? So we'll do all this again tomorrow, but it'll be in Wilmington, all right? Right, and then after that, maybe we could do a podcast or something like that. All right? All right, let's do it. Where was you at?
I stopped on verse 4. 4 and 4.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. You said 4 and 4.
Come on.
All right, let's read a little bit more.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 4 and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him. But he received it not. Then called Esther perhaps one of the king's chamberlains, whom he appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai, to know what it was and why it was. So Hatat went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate.
Mm-hmm.
And Mordecai told him all that had happened unto him, and the sum of the money that Haman had prophesied, that Haman had promised to pay the king treasuries for the Jews, to destroy them. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given to Shushan to destroy them.
And you know what? And real quick, and they've been trying to destroy us since we've been here,
Right.
but it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like they've been trying to destroy us through everything, like from the government down. They've been trying to figure out ways to destroy us. And they almost on to it with Sexy Red in them. They almost on to it. But, they haven't figured it out yet. All right? Go ahead.
Come. Salakia. Verse 8. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given as Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king, to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him for her people. Okay, so you stop there. Let me get another brother just to read. We're going to start at at chapter 5. We're going to read down a few verses at 5, and we're going to leave it there. All right. As a matter of fact, start at 5 and 2.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Verse 3. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request?
Mm-hmm.
It shall even be given thee to the half of the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther answered, If it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king said, Cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther have said.
Mm-hmm.
So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed.
Mm-hmm.
Then answered Esther and said, My petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them. And I will do tomorrow as the king has said.
All right, so there we go. We'll stop it there. As our word, write this down in the book. We at where she's setting up the banquet.
That was
Esther. Esther 5 and 9. Right. So for all the women, man, who say that we're just male chauvinistic pigs, we are actually going and we're going through, and giving praise to a woman, man, who was a Judite, man, who basically, she was a Judite, right? Sloggy. She was a Judite, right? What does it say? Queen Esther was. No. You know what? Her uncle was a Benjamite. Her uncle, yeah. If her uncle was a Benjamite, right? Yeah, they would be Benjamites. Yeah. So we giving praise to a woman. You know what I mean? Who was a Benjamite, who was a Jew. And this is what we're doing, man. Today and tomorrow, we're giving reverence, man, and we're celebrating the Feast of Purim, man. And we're going to continue tomorrow. The Feast of Purim, the closing of Feast of Purim is going to be in Wilmington tomorrow night, which will be good. We get together and we're just going to do it again. All right. With that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right now. And I guess I will just salute out. All right, men of Israel, Amajim. All right, men of Israel, Amanu Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, Yajmatah. Sorry, we're gonna give the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Yajmatah. All right, dismissed, man. Let's get it on. Hey, Tashim, you got some, this can turn on some music? Oh, what's going on?